What's up team? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology. This video is going to be on Superman from Man of Steel and how he is an INFJ. I know a lot of you have been waiting for the INFJ video, so it's about time I did it. And what better superhero than Superman? I'm going to be talking about intuition, and then feeling, and then thinking, and then sensing. And also within that, I'm going to be combining it with some metaphors, analogies, and some colors, which I haven't done before, but Jung talked a lot about colors as well, so I'll bring that in, and it fits very well with this theme, so hopefully it all works out. And yeah, and then at the end I'll be going through some quick little ways that you can help yourself become as badass as Superman. Well, you know, as close as you can get as a human, okay? So let's get started. First of all, we have the whole introversion thing. He's not comfortable with people knowing his true identity. And as an introvert myself, I can feel that too. Starting out, we have intuition. It's being in tune with the hypothetical experiences, and it's kind of guiding you by awareness of what is possible. Intuitives are going to observe the abstract, the potential connections between a bunch of things, and kind of going behind the scenes, looking behind the curtains in an either broad way like extroverted intuition or a refined way like introverted intuition. So a lot of intuitives are going to be saying things like, what might this be? So one key that Superman is an intuitive is that he's constantly seeking the answer to why am I here?
I have so many questions. Where do I come from? Why did you send me here?
This is especially true for introverted intuitives. Like, why am I here? What's my purpose? What's my reason for existing? I think a lot of NI dominants really know this feeling of like being someone who's, you know, like living amongst the stars and just doesn't feel like they quite fit in with the same reality that a lot of other people do. And that can come out in a lot of ways, and one is possibly seeing yourself as different and seeing how things are going to happen before they happen, like with this long range vision or supervision. He's seeking this long-term universal truth and this understanding of how the world is working, and eventually like what he can do will change everything and will transform the world. It'll change the future, and that is something that introverted intuitives are really good at, is kind of seeing how this insight or taking on this different approach, acting as if, will change them and will change the course of reality. And they're very good at holding these different ideas to be true at the same time, and then seeing where that takes the path of time, basically. And he sees this larger picture than most of the humans can. And that's because he has this different approach to reality. His real dad comes back in the ship.
Who are you?
I am your father, Cal. Or at least a shadow of him. His consciousness. My name was Jor-El.
And Cal? That's my name.
Kal-El. It is.
It's a freaking spirit guide, basically, to answer his questions. And I have a hunch, I'm not an introverted intuitive, but I have a hunch that a lot of you can relate to this spirit guide type idea. Like there's just something that's guiding you, and you follow it along and it answers your questions, and it kind of takes you along this path of exploration and growth. Feeling then is the emotional side. If you're a feeler, you're in tune with the emotional or ethical, moral aspects, and you use that to decide what to do accordingly. You want to improve the functionality of people and of groups through emotional impact and feelings and good relationships. And this happens in the two different ways of being in a broad extroverted feeling way or a more refined introverted feeling way. In this case, it's extroverted feeling, and it's more focused towards the groups and what he can do, what an INFJ can do in order to maintain that group harmony, that social harmony. And a lot of feelers are going to be asking, like, what is the ethically right thing to do in this situation? You can see this a lot through how he was raised. So he was, shot from space, from Krypton, all the way to Earth, and he's raised in Smallville, Kansas, which embodies the good morals and citizenship that extroverted feelers really rely on. It's focusing on proper social structure. Like, he was raised by looking at the outer kind of should statements and acting in accordance to social expectations. And there's this deep compulsion that comes from that to help other people. And you can see that definitely within Superman and his desire to be useful and to protect humanity. Like, obviously it's expanding to a larger picture, but it's there.
How do we know you won't one day act against America's interests?
I grew up in Kansas, General. About as American as it gets. Look, I'm here to help. But it has to be on my own terms.
Extroverted feelers focus on the group aspects and kind of maintaining that harmony. And it's not always about connecting with other people. Sometimes it's about cutting those bonds and ties with other people. And you can see that in the fight with the Kryptonians, and how he chooses his side and he fights for the people that he feels are good and correct. And he's in tune with the welfare of humanity and of the group that he has chosen.
If you love these people so much, you can mourn for them. Don't do this! Stop! Never.
He has this desire to support and help people. And this comes in a lot of ways through the auxiliary function being extroverted feeling as well, because it's used as this kind of good parent style. And through this, he instructs people on what to do.
Get inside. It's not safe.
More so for Superman, he models this good behavior that everybody else can look up to. And right here we see, like, when he starts standing up for his people and for people in general, and he's not hiding from his own powers, then he's able to protect his family, he's able to save humanity, and he realizes his strengths and his connection to Earth, which is his extroverted sensing side, and I will be talking about that in a little bit. Now I want to talk about the different colors. We have intuition as yellow and feeling as red. And you put those together and you have NIFE, which is the dominant and the auxiliary function for the INFJ. So it's focusing ideas and understanding on a symbol, and then connecting that to people. And Superman has an S on his chest. Well, it's not an S, is it? It's a symbol for hope.
The people of Earth are different from us, it's true. But ultimately, I believe that's a good thing. They won't necessarily make the same mistakes we did. Not if you guide them, Cal. Not if you give them hope. That's what this symbol means. The symbol of the House of L means hope. Embodied within that hope is the fundamental belief in the potential of every person to be a force for good. That's what you can bring them.
A symbol, first of all, is something to represent change, growth, transformation. This is what I talked about with introverted intuition. It's a combination of his past, the gift from his father and his planet of the past, and going into the future. So introverted intuition is a past and future oriented function as well. And combining that with extroverted feeling gives the people of Earth an ideal to strive towards, a symbol to look up to. And NF types in general, they're focused on personal growth. They have these big visions that they work towards, and they also push other people towards as well. So it's all very much represented within the symbol on Superman's chest, and his actions and how he portrays himself and how he helps other people, and that long-term vision that he has. So that was just talking about the first two functions, the dominant function of introverted intuition and extroverted feeling as the auxiliary function. Now let's talk about the tertiary and then the inferior. The tertiary function is introverted thinking. Thinking is represented as blue, and if you're a thinker, you are in tune with the mental, logical aspects of reality, and you use that to decide what to do according to the situation. And your goal is largely to improve the functionality of things through efficiency or utility or leverage, good strategy. And this can be done, once again, in a broad way, extroverted thinking, or a refined way, introverted thinking. And in this case, we're going to be talking more about introverted thinking. And in general, though, if you're a thinker, you're looking at a situation and trying to understand what is the logically correct thing to do. So you can see how that contrasts with extroverted feeling, which is looking more into the ethically good or right thing to do. And I'm sure you figured this out already, but because thinking is blue and his suit is blue, there's going to be a connection within there. The tertiary function protects you from doing the scary things that come with the auxiliary function and the inferior function. So what I mean by this is it keeps him able to protect his inner self. So introverted thinking is a subjective decision-making function that helps you fix problems and look at inaccuracies. And it does this by categorizing and defining the different aspects, and then using that properly defined information, that model, as leverage to do something, to improve, to help your chances at doing something. And it doesn't want to like destroy the whole system. It doesn't want to break the model completely, but it will kind of tweak it. And that's what's really important about introverted thinking, is it's a lot of little tweaks to the system to improve it. And this is how he makes sense of the world. He's not from Earth. And so he has to kind of analyze it a bit more, and he has to think about, like, you know, why are these things happening? Why am I this way specifically? And then through practice and through subjective experiences, his own personal experience, he is able to improve his skills. He's able to learn to fly. He's able to do all that stuff that he can do. And, you know, so it's basically one of the ways he tries to fit in with the world itself. But it's opposed to the extroverted feeling side of going along with and supporting what everybody else is doing and what is the socially accepted style. So inside, he has this really technical side. I mean, his race is fully controlled breeding, this insanely technologically advanced style. And I like to think of thinking as being a technologically focused function or dichotomy. His enemy also said to him that because Superman possesses a sense of morality, he is weak.
You are weak, son of El. Unsure of yourself. The fact that you possess a sense of morality and we do not gives us an evolutionary advantage. And if history has proven anything, it is that evolution always wins.
If he's going to grow, he does need to focus on that morality. And that's not a sense of weakness if he accepts it and if he uses it and improves on his ability to wield it. But it is a weakness if he's stuck in his own introverted ways and doesn't get out there and doesn't, you know, mesh with people well. And one more thing, he's very composed most of the time. He's got that cool head, but he is expressive when it's right to be expressive. And I think that's something that a lot of INFJs will really understand, is like, it's not their natural way to be super expressive all the time, but when it's right, when it's, you know, the right time for it and in the right situation, then good, I'll do it. I'll be smiley and kissy and you know, all that stuff. But it doesn't always happen, and a lot of times you can catch yourself being a little too cool-headed and a little too logical about things.
Come on, Chrissy.
Knock it off.
Sit down.
Let me go.
Hey, leave her alone, man. Or what? Tough guy?
Or gonna have to ask you to leave.
I think I'll probably just leave when I'm good and ready.
Oh, there he is.
It's not worth it, sweetie.
Hey, asshole, don't forget your tip. Steve Rag.
going on from here, we have the inferior or aspirational function. This is the counter as well as the function that completes the dominant function. And this is sensing. This is extroverted sensing, but sensing in general is focused on the physical side of things. The color that Jung gave to it was green, and sensing is very in tune with the real experiences, and it's guided by awareness of the tangible reality in a broad way through extroverted sensing, or in a refined way through introverted sensing. And Superman uses extroverted sensing, but it's his fourth function in his stack, so it's not the best, it's not the healthiest. Until the end of the movie, which can symbolize personal growth and completeness. If you're a sensor, though, you're going to be asking yourself a lot of times, what is this in a tangible way? Like, what am I touching right now? What am I seeing right now? And that's very different from the intuitive side that's looking at something and thinking like, well, what might it be? So it's a very different way of approaching understanding the world. And so sensing being green, well, the most clear connection to that for me was that Earth is green. And the reason that he's alive is because he is on Earth. And your inferior function has this pull, this quest to save your world by completing yourself and by actually connecting with your inferior function.
When the world finds out what you can do, it's going to change everything. Our beliefs, our notions of what it means to be human, everything. You saw how Pete's mom reacted, right? She was scared of Clark.
Why?
People are afraid of what they don't understand.
The further away you get from extroversion and the more like enclosed you are, the less able you are to save the world. So let's talk about extroverted sensing in two different ways. First, I'll talk about the inferior side of it, and then I'll talk more about the aspirational side of it. So as an inferior function,
I'm tired of safe. I just want to do something useful with my life.
So farming, feeding people, that's not useful.
I didn't say that.
Our family's been farming for 5 generations, Clark.
Your family, not mine. I don't even know why I'm listening to you. You're not my dad. You're just some guy who found me in a field.
Clark!
he said he was tired of being safe, and for inferior extroverted sensing, there's this pull to experience the kind of wild side of the world, the kind of risk-taking side of things. And if you're ignoring it for too much, it's going to happen to you in some way. You're going to run into it. So finding a way to actually embrace that extroverted sensing and the tangible reality around you through sports or cooking or martial arts, that's really going to help you. And he himself doesn't really flex too much, but it's certainly visible. You can tell that he can really do whatever he wants to do in a physical way. And in unhealthy states, INFJs or just NJs in general are going to often have this side of them where they, if they're physically equipped to do it, they'll encroach on somebody's space and they'll kind of like flex a bit and try to put the other person in their place. And obviously that's not a healthy way, and he doesn't do it too often, but I mean, it's there. Like, he put himself in handcuffs freely, but then like when it was time, he just ripped them off. And this really shows like the immense raw power that he's holding within him, and it conflicts with the outer world.
We have legitimate security concerns. Now, you've revealed your identity in Miss Lane over there. Why won't you do the same with us?
Let's put our cards on the table here, General. You're scared of me because you can't control me. You don't. And you never will. But that doesn't mean I'm your enemy.
And another thing for inferior extroverted sensing is this pull to kind of overindulge sometimes. And it could go two ways. It could go overindulging, or it could be complete cutting off and like quarantining yourself so you don't indulge, or you overindulge in it and you just fully embrace it, and it can cause some problems because it's your inferior function. And he, at the start of the movie, when he was a child, which could be represented by the inferior functions kind of young age, it's not fully developed, he gets overwhelmed by his senses and by the outer world until he learns how to control it. And the stress from the need to live out this kind of perfect ideal, when you have this pull of wanting to just experience the present reality, can cause a lot of problems for INFJs. It's difficult to live out that perfect vision. And he says,
"The world's too big, Mom."
Extroverted sensing and introverted intuition work in a way where they condense the world. Extroverted sensing has all these different data points in the tangible physical world around you that you can pick up with your senses, and then introverted intuition takes those and focuses them to a laser point. And that is how the world becomes less big. And he does that, and introverted intuition as a dominant function does that. You know, it takes all that kind of chaos from the current present world and focuses it onto one idea and one outcome. And that's a lot easier to deal with than just embracing everything that might happen, unless that's your dominant function and that's what you want to do. There's this kind of disconnect that he needs to learn how to do. And introverted intuitives go into this whole brain state where they focus inside themselves on trying to get this outcome, this aha moment, this insight.
What have you done to me?
My parents taught me to hone my senses on focus on just what I wanted to see. Without your helmet, you're getting everything. And it hurts, doesn't it?
And so if you are an NJ type, a lot of times you'll probably need to just kind of step back every once in a while and let your thoughts mold into the insight that's going to come out. It's kind of like sifting for gold, you know. As an aspirational function, and like being fully integrated, you see that by the end of the movie, he's mastered his senses. He is okay with being on Earth, and he actually can't be in the other atmosphere that Krypton is. And this is him being fully energized by sensory experiences. And when you give enough time to your extroverted feeling, you will be more comfortable with the extroverted sensing side of yourself, and you'll find the joy in just embracing life as it comes and not worrying too much about where things are going. So if you've watched this video this far, you're definitely into personal growth and you're intrigued by it. And so how you're going to do that, how you're going to fully connect all your pieces, all your parts, is by finding the people who you're willing to fight for. And through doing that, you'll realize where you stand. And it's a matter of finding that pull within humanity that'll take you out of hiding. And through that, you'll be able to connect with people and connect people from different realities, from different worlds, and be that symbol of hope and growth that you deep down know that you are and know you can be if you get out of yourself, if you get out of your head.
I'm going to make them suffer, Cal. These humans you've adopted, I will take them all from you one by one.
You're a monster, Zod. And I'm gonna stop you.
So if this video was helpful for you in some way, please like, subscribe, share. Consider checking out my Patreon account. I'd like to thank the patrons that I have right now. You guys are awesome. Thank you very much for supporting me and helping me continue on this journey. And hopefully I can continue to help you and everybody else out there. So like I said, please share this video. Share it with somebody. Don't keep geek psychology a secret. If it helped you, it'll help somebody else as well. So good luck, have fun, keep up the lifelong questing, and peace.
This was in the chamber with you. I took it to a metallurgist at Kansas State. He said whatever it was made from didn't even exist on the periodic table. That's another way of saying that it's not from this world, Clark. And neither are you. You're the answer, son. You're the answer to are we alone in the universe?
I don't want to be.
And I don't blame you, son. It'd be a huge burden for anyone to bear. But you're not just anyone, Clark, and I have to believe that you were sent here for a reason. All these changes that you're going through, one day you're going to think of them as a blessing, and when that day comes, you're going to have to make a choice. A choice of whether to stand proud in front of the human race or not.
Can I just keep pretending I'm your son?
You are my son. But somewhere out there, you have another father, too, who gave you another name. And he sent you here for a reason, Clark. And even if it takes you the rest of your life, you owe it to yourself to find out what that reason is.